Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I was watching a YouTube video with Heather Courtney from Black in Portugal. She also has another channel called an Unconventional Itinerary. And I noticed that when she was talking about all the different things that she had gone through, she was really specific and giving a lot of detail. So shout out to her, and the video that I was watching will be linked down below so you can look at it. Today I am talking about how to pregame your 10-hour flight, because for many people we fly a lot on short trips, but for those longer trips, there are specific things that will make it much better for you when you get to the other end, so that you can kind of hit the ground running and not have jet lag for 3 or 4 days, which, especially for Americans taking a vacation, we don't get as much time as other people in other parts of the world. So our time is precious. So I wanted to talk about prepping. But if you are totally new and this is the first time you're seeing me, my name is Kyra. The name of the channel is Vistas and Vittles. I have been a tour guide in the San Francisco Bay Area for the last 10 years. I do walking tours in and around the area. I also do tours off of cruises. So some of you may be some of my customers that I have seen before. So hello to all of you out there. And I am also a travel coach. So you can always contact me down below. As the channel gets more people, I will put in some other things where you can contact me if you need to. But welcome back to Vistas and Vittles. Today we are talking about how to prep for a 10-hour or a long flight. So my number one recommendation is get plenty of rest. Now, this sort of sounds like it's probably kind of basic, but you would be surprised. That last 7 days before you're getting ready to go on that trip, it's super important to, what I always do is I try to set a regular bedtime, like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and make sure that by 10 o'clock I'm starting to get ready so I can hit that 10:30 bedtime. And I'm not packing or throwing something in the suitcase. You're always worried about the things that you're not going to have done. So sometimes you also start to get a little bit anxious about the trip. So it can be really easy to just, be up later than you need to be. But setting that time and keeping that time is really important, so that once you're on that flight and you're losing a little bit of sleep, maybe you can't sleep on the airplane or you don't sleep as well as you thought, and you get to the other end, your sleep bank is full. And it'll help you adjust to the time. The way that we are going to be flying, we're taking an international flight from the West Coast. So when we get there, it'll already be, I think, like noon or something like that. So what I try to do is not go to sleep, but I stay up, I eat at the normal time that I would be eating, and then try to stay up as late as I can that first night. And then usually the next morning when I wake up, I'm already on European time, wherever I'm traveling in Europe. So I really like to take those overnight flights, and that's what I recommend for people. The number two thing that's really important for pre-gaming your flight is hydration. So a lot of people like to drink like a Gatorade drink, or something that has a few extra vitamins and minerals to just help your body get ready to adjust. If that works for you, great. But just making sure you're getting a little extra water than you would normally have. It's going to keep your skin from being super dry. It's going to keep your hair from being super dry, and you will arrive on the other end and be in pretty good shape. One of the other things that I like to do is use some kind of a dry oil before I get on the plane. My favorite is Nuxe, N-U-X-E, which you can find on Amazon. They come in different scents, and I like to put that on and then put on a really hydrating lotion on top of that. And then I find when I get to the other end, my skin isn't like alligator skin or sandpaper. So that's something else that I recommend. The number three thing that I recommend for pre-gaming your flight is healthy eating. So I try to do like hummus and veggies, maybe a little more poultry and fish than red meat. Berries are really good for, helping your body function correctly, and also raw nuts. I love almonds and pistachios, so I like to have those on hand and just be eating them in the days before so my body's getting extra nutrients. And then I also like to take those on the flight with me in case I get a little hungry and I want something that's going to be healthy for my body. And all of these things are helping your body to get ready for the trip. I talked about keeping a regular bedtime, and this, is one of the things that helps you prep for that time change that's coming. And the other thing I recommend is if you are a person that's going to watch your own videos on your devices, 2 or 3 days before the flight is when you need to be thinking about downloading the things that you want on those devices. Some people like to read Kindle books on their iPad. Some people have, different music that they want to listen to and they want to download that. Be thinking about doing that 2 or 3 days before your trip is coming up. That way, if, the internet goes out the night before, you're not sitting on the airplane going, oh man, I should have downloaded that 3 days ago. Trust me, stuff happens. The last thing that I want to talk about is look over your itinerary, even getting up towards the end of the trip. And there's two main reasons to do this. Number one, I think the last 3 times that Dean and I have flown internationally, and if this is your first time here, Dean is my husband who also travels with me. Dean and I have had the last 3 flights we have flown internationally, there has been some kind of change, either a few months before or within 10 days of the trip. And the trip that we are getting ready to embark on, I was looking over all the reservation information and I found out that they had canceled our flight that we were coming back on, and they had booked us for a day later. Well, that was really good to find out. So I called up and I said, hey, is there any chance of getting on the flight that we had originally planned? Well, what they had done is they code share with another airline, which means that there's 2 airlines that are going to be running that flight. And the only flight that was available was 25 hours. So what would have ended up happening is we would have ended up getting home at the same time as if we just would have taken the flight the next day that they put us on. That was 10 hours nonstop. So we decided just to keep the flight that they had moved us to. That was a day later, but we needed to inform people, hey, we're not coming back this day, we're coming back this day. So that is a really good reason that you want to check. I would say 6 days out, and then check again 3 days out, and then obviously the night before you want to be checking your flights. The other really good reason to check is sometimes you'll get a little notice, and this is why I always recommend book directly with whatever airline you are flying with. A lot of people will say, no, you can go to Travelocity, or you can go to, whomever, Kayak, and get a really cheap flight, or cheap flights. That is all true. But when there is a problem with the airline, if you have booked directly with that airline, they are going to take care of you first, because they didn't get a super cheap fare person and have to take care of that. And for any of you who've made the mistake, if you have booked with someone else and there is a problem, like they need to move you to another airline and have you fly over there for some reason because the aircraft for it's not going anywhere. They're gonna move the people who booked with them first, and they will tell you, call your third party airline, which, your third party, whoever you booked it through, which is not fun because then you have to try to get a real person. Especially these days where we can just go on the internet, we can buy anything. It's sometimes really hard to get a hold of a real person to get a change in the time that you need it. You want to be able to walk up to that desk and give them your ticket and show that you booked directly with that airline, and you will get the help that you need. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you have booked directly with that airline, a lot of times you're going to get a little notice 6 days before. Would you like to upgrade your flight if there is space available? Like, let's say you've just booked basic economy, and they might be offering you, would you like to bump up to premium economy? Would you, and then the one I love is, would you like to bump up to business class? And on TAP Air Portugal, this will be our first time taking TAP, so I'm going to review that for you and tell you how I enjoyed it. So far, I am loving it. I booked directly with the airline. I booked a very inexpensive coach flight. 6 days before, they sent a notice asking us if we would like to upgrade. And the upgrade was a pretty decent price, so I bid on it. Now, a lot of times when that email comes through, if you're not paying attention, if you're not looking for it, you could miss it. So just know that that's going to come through. If your flight is not super booked, they will give you the opportunity to pay. There's also an app called Seat Booster if you fly Lufthansa, Avianca, or TAP Air Portugal 24 hours before, if you're a super gambler, or if you weren't really sure if you wanted to upgrade or not. 24 hours before your flight, you put in the flight number, the information that they ask for. It's like, I think it's the flight number, the day it's leaving, and the airline. And it'll pop up, and then it'll say, would you like to make a bid? So you want to have an opportunity to either get the bid that comes directly from the airline or to use Seat Booster 24 hours out. And let's say if your reservation's been changed and you haven't taken care of that, you can't take care of doing the upgrade or anything like that. So just make sure I'm going to go over what I talked about, getting plenty of sleep, get that hydration, healthy eating, let's not be running to McDonald's and, In-N-Out Burger and all the things that we love here. Like, let's try to eat some healthy stuff because you're going to go on vacation. You're going to eat some stuff that you weren't planning on, or you're going to have that extra drink out with your friends that you just met. So, be prepping for that. Keep that regular sleep schedule. Try to get about 7 or 8 hours because you're getting ready to change those time zones. Download all of your information first and look over your reservations. The other thing I want to mention is put all the things that you're going to need on that flight in your carry-on. Do not be the guy that, like, once they say, okay, you can walk around the cabin, there's always that guy that gets up and goes into his carry-on and he's digging through and he's trying to find stuff. And I'm always thinking, why didn't he just put it in, put his book or, his phone or, whatever it is. Why didn't he just, have it in his carry-on? So all he has to do is reach under his seat and get the things that he wants out of there. So whatever you need, something to drink, something to eat, little snacks that you brought with you. You want to put your gloves on, you feel cold, you've got a little travel blanket in there, whatever it is. Don't leave it in, the overhead. Just put it in that little carry-on that you have and just reach and grab all your stuff and you are set. Okay? So I hope everybody has enjoyed the video. Once again, my name is Kyra. The channel is Vistas and Vittles. And my next video is going to be talking about getting around SFO, the International Terminal. All right? Everybody have a great rest of your weekend, and see you out there on the road.